MacArthur head coach John Osborne once again in the booth at halftime, as Judson still doing their thing down on the field here at halftime, and their football team doing a good thing on the scoreboard as well with a 21-15 score. We will get to highlights and statistics in just a moment. Once again, for those of you that may have tuned in a little bit later this afternoon and missed the early portion of the broadcast, we announced here just shortly after 2 o'clock, of course, there was a big meeting in Austin, and 2 o'clock, University of Texas Athletic Director DeLoss Dodds announced the firing of head football coach Fred Akers. Of course, that was not altogether unexpected there, and of course, we will get into more of that as the day goes on. Let's talk a little bit more about Judson and Holmes for the time being, as you can see those stats up on your screen at home, and really, I'm a little bit surprised with the total offense for both sides. However, I guess with the way that Holmes came back on that last drive, that certainly put it in their favor, because they moved, what, 80 yards in about 40 seconds, didn't they? Or actually 30 seconds, didn't they, Coach?
John, they sure did. And I think that's what got the total yardage, so comparable as it is right now, being about 70-some yards difference. But it's, as indicated by the stats, that's very indicative of how the score is. It's a very close ball game. Time possession's real close. Turnovers, 2-1. It's just very indicative of what the score says, 21-15.
Well, now, one thing that could be in Holmes' favor. Now, look at the yards rushing for Judson. They had 113 of that at the end of the first quarter. So that would indicate that they only had 39 yards of total offense in the second quarter. That one touchdown that they got in the second quarter was, of course, the 98-yard kickoff return by Byron Saunders. On the other hand, for Holmes, their rushing yardage is a figure that we need to watch throughout the course of the game. They have 85 yards on the ground, as they don't average a whole heck of a lot. They do average a little over 100 per ball game, but it's a little bit more of a balanced look for the Holmes offense than has been in the past. Now, the thing, of course, that has hurt them are the 2 turnovers, but the time of possession is not as one-sided as, of course, Judson would like it to be. It's something they have to work on in the second half. Let's take a look at some of the highlights of the first half. Of course, there were plenty, so you'll have to watch and catch on quick. First of all, in the first quarter, Robert Felton, the quarterback, with 6:26 to play in the first. On a third down play, he'll just sprint it in from 3 yards out.
John, it's just a real good play on Robert Felton's part. Of course, he had a great block out there by Scott Burris, I think, to get him around the corner, and this made a good read.
And a lot of celebrating starting early for the Judson Rockets. Into the second quarter we go with the play. 9 minutes and 22 seconds left to go before the half. And it was Robert Felton on the quarterback keeper right up the middle, just barely a yard, but he got over, and it made it 14-0 Rockets.
See that old offensive line right there, bowing their back, keeping real low to the ground, trying to get underneath the defensive people of Holmes, trying to get the penetration. Of course, like I say, if it, when it was on earlier, if they'd had another 6 inches to go, they wouldn't have got it, because it's a great response by the Holmes defense.
That was set up by an interception from Terry Phoenix in the end zone off a Wilbur Odom pass. But the Huskies were not to be denied. 5:27 left in the second quarter. Tony Hawkins taking the pitch back from Wilbur Odom, looking him cut it up now, keep the leg drive moving and into the end zone from 5 yards out.
So we got a great block earlier, on in that play by Eddie Zapata, I believe it was, who pulled around the center from the left guard possession.
That made it 14-7. And then just 17 seconds later, the ensuing kickoff, Sean McKenna lets it fly. It's a little bit short. It is taken on a bounce by Byron Saunders here at his own 2-yard line. And look at the magic that Saunders performs. Picks his block slowly, cuts up through there, past a would-be tackler, and now he's got a wall in front of him, and he outraces Kerry Cash 98 yards into the end zone for a 21-7 Judson lead.
Skill to find that kind of crease, John. You don't coach. You coach the coverage and blocking schemes to return it, but you don't coach the individual talent like that.
Well, the Huskies again decided not to fold, and boy, I tell you what, they certainly did not. With 43 seconds left on the clock in the first half, they moved the ball 80 yards, helped to be set up by this 62-yard completion from Wilbur Odom to Kerry Cash, and look at the athletic move that Cash made, jumping high for the football, coming down with it, and getting inside the 20-yard line.
That shows his talent, but I think the move he makes right here by spinning off, cutting back inside, coming up right there, really shows his true talent, because he is, he's 6'5", and he's able to make the quick movement with the feet and be able to get by somebody one-on-one.
And that will set up the touchdown with 16 seconds left in the half. Wilbur Odom sending out 3 wide receivers to the near side of the field, finds a wide-open Keith Cash.
This is just a great throw. Wilbur Oldham reads the defense very well. You can see we have no defensive people around. Of course, we talked about that might be one of the things that Coach Rudley was talking to the officials about, maybe thinking about there was an offensive pick play on the defensive guy on that last touchdown.
And, of course, Robert Stevens ran it in for a two-point conversion on the muff PAT attempt, and it turned out good for the Holmes Huskies at halftime. Our score is Judson 21 and Holmes 15. We'll get set for the second half kickoff.
And that's just good for the communities in and around San Antonio.
Coach Arnold, we appreciate your visit. Best of luck to you and your team in the second half.
Thanks, John.
Thank you. Appreciate you being here. Frank Arnold, the athletic director for the Judson Independent School District, and his football team is on top of the scoreboard at halftime as we continue. 21-15 is our score. We'll be right back.